little project we got today. This is the fuel tank out of Chris's wife's 64 Chevy. And so you can see, it's got a hole in it. So we knew about this leak. We drained the tank the other day. We knew we were going to have to pull the tank on it and fix it. But now that we've got the tank out of the truck, I think we found a couple other spots where we think we've got leaks. So we're going to get this thing completely filled with water. We're going to see if we can go around right now, start marking all the leaks in the bottom of the tank. Yeah, there's one there, there's one here. Looks like there's one over there. And this isn't that old of a tank. How many years ago did you install this thing?
I have no idea.
I mean,
I don't know the history. My wife does. I don't.
It can't be more than 10 years old on the tank, though, or much more than that.
All I know is happy wife, happy life, and it's broke, and she's not happy because it's broke, so we're going to fix it.
Yeah, we're going to weld it up. So we're going to get this thing completely filled with water right now. It's already been empty of gas for a few days. We've let it sit and air out. So we're going to fill it with water and let that go for a second, and then we'll start marking our leaks and get it welded up.
This side.
Well, this is now like 3 very distinct leaks and a drip.
Oh, it's got a pour somewhere here in the middle. Oh yeah, look at that. Come here, Tyler. There's 1, 2, 3. And somewhere here in the front it's leaking.
This thing has a ton of holes in it.
Oh, just patch it. It'll be fine, they said.
Well, as I was taking a Sharpie and marking these, that one just appeared out of nowhere, so now we gotta go mark it up. And another one. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Where's that other one through here?
It's just on the bottom side of that lip.
Oh, it's right there.
There's one right in here too. They become really apparent once you start grinding.
Yeah. I bet that's
This thing's just got tons of little pinholes in it.
mm-hmm.
So right there's one, there's two, there's two, there's a good size one, there's one, there's one, there's one. There's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. And that's what we found so far. This is just gonna be our first pass. We'll get all those sealed up, tip it back over, put water back in it, and we'll see how many we get on the next round. Alright, well, we got an extinguisher, so, and a garden hose. It'll be fine.
Let her rip, tater chip.
Oh, it's pretty good.
And this is why no matter how hard you try to prep, you have to be incredibly careful when welding on a sealed tank that has had a combustible liquid in it.
Did you get it on video?
Oh yes, I did.
Sweet. I told you it's going to loop.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. I hate welding gas tanks.
This is also why this is not a job we would ever do for a customer. Well, now we gotta kind of unmarshmallow the thing, push it back together a little bit, and then maybe reconsider our direction on this.
It looks like my fucking sprinkler.
There's like 20 holes in that thing for sure. Try that again for the second time. This time we've put the tank vertical and we're letting the water run out of the hole, so there's no chance of it trying to ignite again like that. We were hoping that we had it flushed out enough that it wasn't going to do that and we could do it without having to try to weld an active stream out of it, but that's what we're going to have to do. We flushed it out a couple more times with the hose, made sure we thoroughly washed down the entire slab back here to make sure that we don't have any chance of it having a pocket of gas or something on it. So, go weld it again.
Hey, let's see if I can do this without getting electrocuted. Or looping. Not with the water coming out of it. There's no way. It cools off way too quick. I'm sure somebody else can, but I'm not going to be able to. No water.
It just seems like the hole's actually getting worse too.
Yeah. It looks like Swiss cheese.
All right, well, plan C. Well, went ahead and just made the decision we probably should have made from the start. It's getting a fuel tank. At least you guys get some amusing video to watch though. Chris almost blowing himself up trying to weld a gas tank. How you doing over there? Pulse back to normal?
Huh?
Pulse back to normal?
Oh, it's fine even when it moves. I think the first time I ever had that happen.
So, we can't get a fuel tank in time for when she wants the truck to use it for something. So we are borrowing a fuel cell from a friend's Jeep. For sure borrowing it, we'll come back.
Yeah, I made a deal with him. I'll get his Jeep running for me borrowing the fuel cell.
So we'll put this in there for a few days, get it in the bed so it's at least drivable and safe. And then the plan is to retrofit it to like a Blazer style tank under the bed and then have a filler behind the taillight for it.
Which I need to refloor the bed on it anyways. And they say to take the bed off is the easiest way to do that kit. So we'll do all that at the same time.
And as usual, when we're doing something on a weekend, it's about to storm. So we're going to try to get as much of this done as we can before it storms.
It's starting to get cool now too.
Yeah. You want some pliers for those?
Yeah.
Alright, so like Chris was saying before, this truck needs redecked. So we're going to put the fuel cell up here. We've got it set up so we're screwing into wood on both. It's also sitting over some of the metal trim strips here, so we're not going to bother putting the ones underneath of it. I'm just going to grab 4 wood screws right now. We're going to screw it down into the bed. And then we'll drill a hole in one of these boards so we can drop the fuel line through. Now the return hole is going to have to turn into a vent, but the fuel line is already going to the center of the cab, which I'll show you in a second. So right there's where the fuel line comes up through the truck. So we're just going to pull it back through the floor right there. Go a rubber line from there back to the back. Now this isn't going to be permanent. This is just going to be temporary. But his wife wants to use this truck for something this week to take it somewhere. So we're going to get it running so it'll work for her. Alright, so we went ahead and we did put the metal rails under it too. It's screwed down to the bed. And we got a hole right there where we're just going to run our fuel line through for right now. So I'm going to go to the shop and see if I can find a vent that will fit the old return line for the tank. This thing is still dripping. But what I'm looking for is a vent like this off an automatic transmission, but one that is on a hose, not just hooked to the case like that. Thought I had one on the diff here, but it's cut off. So I have to keep looking. Seats are back in the truck. It's starting to rain, so I'm gonna come up here and put a second hole in the bed because that's gonna be for the vent tube.
You're gonna make that hole bigger.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that a little bigger. We're gonna have to do the next one for the fuel line. Chris is gonna hop under there, cut the fuel line, and we're gonna try to do this before these couple little raindrops turn into a downpour because we've got a storm that's on its way. All right, so I've got the vent hose just ran down through the bed right now, just pushing down so we have a vent. And the fuel hose is going down through the bed, and Chris has it ran to the back of the hard line. He's going to the shop to make up an adapter to go on the end of that to go to this hose. So everything on the top side should be done. We just need to hook it up down there, and then we're gonna need to pump this tank out because this fuel cell's got old fuel in it, and put some fresh fuel in it, and it should be good just to make that trip this week. It's not going very far, it's just going into town for a day, but it needs to be able to drive on its own there. Well, I don't think we have enough battery for that. So we shut it off there because I saw fuel coming out of the top of the carb. We had a stuck float. so it might not just be the float leaking. We've got fuel all up on the surface here, and I think it's coming out of the accelerator pump. Well, that just scared me. You guys see a little bit of smoke back there?
Huh?
It's got a vacuum tube that's undone. That scared the hell out of me. I thought it was on fire. Just let it idle. Oh yeah, there it goes. Shut it off! Yep. I wiped out that cavity and it just completely filled it up with fuel. It's coming out of the accelerator pump. Well, seeing as this is a quadra junk, we're gonna probably end up tossing this, but we're trying to make some phone calls, see if anyone by chance, for some, I don't know why, reason, would have a quadra jet sitting on their shelf. If we can find one, we'll throw one on here today. Otherwise, calling around, see if anyone has another like 4160 style 4-barrel like this that we could throw on here. I know I have an Edelbrock at home, but it's my parts carburetor, and I can't remember if there's anything like really important missing from it or not. So we'll have to see. I don't think it's going to be able to be put back together. I don't think I've stolen too many parts off of it. Well, we're still looking for a carburetor, but I don't think we're going to need this thing going today. It's already started raining pretty decent now. So we'll keep looking for a carburetor and see what we can find, but I don't have a good spare one. Chris doesn't have a good spare one right now to put on here, so unless somebody calls us back and says they've got one sitting on the shelf, probably won't finish this truck today.